Good evening, hello and welcome. You're watching Viewpoint. I'm Anusha Soni. The alliance called INDIA, or the Indian National Developmental Inclusive Alliance, a loose coalition of over 26 political parties, was formed with much enthusiasm to take on the might of the BJP. Critics and political opponents had criticized this alliance for being high on political decibel and high on political noise and low on substance. It seems that cracks have started to emerge. After certain Congress leaders expressed the intent of the Congress party to fight on all seats talking about Delhi, the Aam Aadmi Party was quick to criticize the grand old party. Some AAP leaders even went to the extent of questioning the purpose of joining this alliance if no seat sharing can be worked out. Any political alliance ought to have electoral mandate and some kind of electoral purpose. The present coalition of opposition parties, if it intends to take on the might of somebody like a BJP, they must come up with solid seat-sharing agreements. The regional satraps would want a larger share of the seats. Congress, as the de facto leader of opposition parties, wouldn't want to lose out on too many seats. Amidst this muscle flexing and partisan political assertions, can this alliance called INDIA pass the litmus test, the big opposition unity test that they must pass to be worthy opponents in the big battle of 2024? Our focus on Viewpoint tonight.
दिल्ली 19वां राज्य था, 24 कैसे जीतना है और बिल्कुल आदेश हुआ है कि हमें 7 सीटों पर मजबूत संगठन के साथ हर नेता को आज से अभी से निकलना है। 7 महीने 7 सीटें हैं। ये बात हुई कि जिसकी दिल्ली उसका देश होता है, ये दिल्ली का इतिहास बताता है। इसलिए कहा गया कि बिल्कुल 7 पर तैयारी रखनी है।
थोड़ा और क्लैरिटी आने दीजिए, बट अगर आज अलका लांबा जी की बात को और उनके दिल्ली प्रेसिडेंट की बात को कांग्रेस की सच माना जाए, तो अगर उन्होंने डिसाइड कर लिया है कि दिल्ली में अलायंस नहीं करना, तो फिर इंडिया अलायंस की मीटिंग का कोई मीनिंग ही नहीं रह जाता। टॉप लीडरशिप डिसाइड करेगी कि हम ये मीटिंग अटेंड करते हैं या नहीं।
फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, I would like to clarify that this meeting wasn't for Lok Sabha election preparation. It was for organizational setup, how to revamp the party. This is absolutely incorrect that this meeting was for preparation of Lok Sabha election. And secondly, there wasn't any discussion about the seat sharing.
How real is the political challenge? How real is this alliance? And can it really substantially put up a real opposition to the BJP? Taking this question forward, joining us on the broadcast is our esteemed panel, Mr. Guru Prakash Paswan, who's the national spokesperson of the BJP, Dolly Sharma from the Congress Party, Ravi Srivastav, who's a political analyst, Raj Gopalan, who's a senior journalist. We also have Abhinandita Mathur, who's the spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party, joining us on the broadcast. Good evening to all of you, and thank you so much for joining us here on Viewpoint today. Abhinandita ji, I'd let you open the debate today and let you open the arguments. Alka Lamba made a statement that can be construed one way or the other. The Congress party says it was a generic statement and we ought to be prepared for a fight on any of the seat that may eventually the Congress party may fight. It was a generic statement. But the reaction of the Aam Aadmi Party establishes that there is a deep mistrust that prevails between the two parties. How can you be allies in any sense?
Good evening to your viewers. Look, alliance coming together is a complicated matter, and there are different kinds of netas who are going to speak their mind from time to time. It does not take away from the fact that the India alliance is collective, it's together, and as the senior leadership of the Congress also clarified, there seems to be no problem as of now. Of course, we will have to work out how the seat sharing, etc., works, but that is, we'll take that in our stride. That has to happen. And as far as the alliance is concerned, as far as our commitment to save the constitution, to save how our freedom fighters envision the country, and to ensure that, we actually come back on the track of development, we will come together and fight. And this alliance is not merely about the Aam Aadmi Party or the Congress or the NCP or any other party. This alliance is actually coming together of all the people who want to save the country. From BJP's divisive politics, from BJP's corrupt politics, and so on. So I think there is no problem. All's good in the hood. And yes, and if there is something, we would be the first to say, but, don't put words in our mouth. There is no problem.
No, but I don't think I have to put words into anybody's mouth for the simple reason that the political parties are bearing it all. So I think there is hardly any need for the journalists to do anything beyond what they are saying. But Dolly Sharma, what explains the kind of statement that came from, say, Alka Lamba? She said we have to be ready to fight on all the seats. And our sources also indicate that within the Congress party, there is a big section of people, a big section of leaders who believe that Aam Aadmi Party is a wholly unnatural ally. You cannot have any kind of seat sharing agreement with them in the national capital, and that could be just a moot problem. That could be just the beginning of the problem in various other states where the regional satraps may want to flex their muscles. Dolly ji.
Yeah. See, as clarified by Deepak Babaria ji yesterday, the meeting was related to the organizational setup of the Congress party, and we discussed in the meeting, it was discussed about the organizational related things. And also Alka Lamba ji, also I think you're confused somewhere. She did not say anything that we are going to fight alone, we are not doing India, nothing like that.
No, she did not use the word alone, and she did not say that we are going to leave the India alliance together, but she said,
let me
yes,
give me 10 seconds.
Yes.
Yeah. And see, any party, whether it is Aam Aadmi Party, whether it is BJP, whether it is Congress Party, any party for that matter is preparing for 2024, right? Seat sharing is to be decided. Is to be decided by the party's like president, organizational head, K.C. Venugopal, and there was no such statement from Mallikarjun Kharge ji, from K.C. Venugopal ji, or for that matter from Rahul Gandhi ji. India alliance is intact. This fight is to save the constitution. We are fighting to save the constitution, and we will. This India alliance is intact. There is no problem with the alliance.
Well, a healthy, Dolly ji, a healthy opposition,
is preparing for it.
A healthy, formidable opposition is in the interest of any democratic nation. So I believe everybody would be happy if the opposition puts up a good fight against the present government, and people have more options when they go and cast their ballot. The problem is that it's too vague and abstract at this point in time. When it comes to the real tangibles of seat sharing agreement, what is going to be the formula which is going to be discussed on the table, and each time there is even a discussion of a seat sharing, we see these political bickering or political fights break out in the public. Guru Prakash Paswan, how do you see your worthy opponents? They argue this is about saving the constitution of the country, and they can bury their political differences because they have a bigger enemy to fight.
A very warm good evening to you, Anusha, and all my fellow panelists. And I was patiently listening to the Congress party spokesperson, and I was waiting for her to speak that the Congress party has officially disowned the statement of Alka Lamba. She did not say anything like that. The Congress party could have tweeted that we have nothing to do with the statement made by Alka Lamba. So this shows that there is absolutely lack of clarity, lack of consensus, and the only glue, the only common thread, Anusha, that unites the entire opposition is the lust for power. There is no niti, there is no niyat, and there is absolutely no netritva. Who is the face? What is your vision document? What are you offering to the people of India? Making rhetorical statement like the Constitution bachao, Samvidhan bachao. On the other hand, the center of INDIA alliance, which is the Congress party historically is responsible for imposing emergence in this country. And the Congress party is beating around the bush and saying that no, we are going to save the constitution. This is all rhetoric. People of India needs answer. People of India needs a vision document. People of India needs a face. Who is your leader? Period. There is absolutely no consensus. And Anusha, you would remember that only yesterday we remembered Bharat Ratna, former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji. And the reason I'm mentioning Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji today is because Gadbandhan Dharma. Coalition is akin to Dharma. Gadbandhan Dharma, it was introduced in the Indian political lexicon by Bharat Ratna, former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji. And we still remember, NDA won 99 to 2004, he ran effectively a coalition of 26 political parties, and all the political parties were diametrically polar opposite to each other. We had Mamta Didi, we had Farooq Abdullah, and so on and so forth. So that is the idea of alliance. On this hand, the so-called INDI alliance, the India alliance, there is absolutely no clarity on anything at all.
Right.
And it keeps coming.
On the question of leadership, I will bring in Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress, and then I'll go to Mr. Rajgopalan and Ravi Srivastava as well. They've been patiently listening to the discussion. But Abhinandita ji, first to you. Somewhere this entire problem of seat sharing, having the tangibles sorted, having some kind of agreements in each states across the country so that the alliance has a real substantial political existence on the ground, essentially boiled down, many would argue, to the question of leadership. There is no one coherent leadership or one face against Prime Minister Modi. That has been the key attack from the BJP repeatedly.
Well, and that's fine. We are actually presenting many, many good leaders. And it isn't about one face as far as the India alliance is concerned at the moment. And I don't see a problem with it. The problem that we see is that Manipur is burning. The problem that we see is that there is huge inflation and youth don't have jobs. You know, the women are not safe. The problems like this that India is facing right now, BJP has a, sort of tendency of dragging history, but we want to look ahead. We want to, there was a time we missed that India where we were looking ahead. We were looking at science. We were looking at the future of our children. We were looking at, a progressive policies for women. Right now, it's a very regressive situation. We really have to save the country from the hands of BJP, which seems to be really clueless. And actually, I would
Anusha,
really
allow
like
me a minute, please.
that Mr. Modi also gives, way to young leaders. I mean, it was very interesting to see him when he was speaking on the Independence Day that, he said, I'm going to come back and be the Prime Minister again. I mean, I'm sure there are many amazing people in the BJP. Why don't you portray them? So I would actually ask another, I would ask the question back to the BJP that why don't you have this? And that is a crisis perhaps in the BJP, but as far as India, the face for India is concerned, it is the people of this country. It is all those Mazdoors who were tortured.
Guru Prakash ji, to have diversity of choices is nothing wrong. It's not a political sin. Guru Prakash ji.
Anusha, I think it's a bit rich coming from Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson, because Aam Aadmi Party has the single exception of being a political party that since its inception has only one single face, one single leader, one single president of Aam Aadmi Party. And look at the travesty, Aam Aadmi Party people speak about constitution, whereas in the Aam Aadmi Party, Arvind Kejriwal ji has made himself the Shashwat president. As long as I am alive, I am going to head the Aam Aadmi Party. And Aam Aadmi Party speaking about collective leadership, I think it's a bit rich. I did not speak when you were speaking.
No, you finish your point.
So Aam Aadmi Party speaking about Aam Aadmi Party speaking about collective leadership, it's a bit rich. And obviously, she was also mentioning about the issues. I think we are today the 5th largest economy, heading towards becoming 3rd largest economy. We are hosting the G20. On our initiative, the world is celebrating International Day of Yoga, International Year of Millets. Economy is booming. More than 50 crore bank accounts. For the first time in the history, we have a woman from tribal community at the highest constitutional office. So we don't need lessons from Aam Aadmi Party in democracy, in inclusivity or development.
This entire, I want to bring in Mr. Rajgopalan and Ravi Srivastava also into the discussion. Ravi Srivastava ji, a bit rich coming in from the Aam Aadmi Party when it comes to the leadership question. The BJP says that they are equally guilty of promoting only a single face. If that is some kind of offence for the BJP, it is for the Aam Aadmi Party as well.
Anusha, first of all, who was the leader in 2004 when the elections were conducted, Lok Sabha? Who was the leader in 2009? So, making this question that show a face. Who's your face? Or there are number of faces. Faces, there is no dearth of faces. Now, I want to ask one question, a counter question.
Yeah.
That what Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge or Mr. Rahul Gandhi or K.C. Venugopal would have told to the workers, go eat, drink, enjoy and sleep at your home. Naturally, every leader will tell his party members, you go prepare yourself, go work on the streets, go work for because political party survives on election only. So everybody has to go for the election. So I don't find there is any bickering within the India alliance. The India alliance got strengthened the moment Congress agreed to support that oppose that particular ordinance in the Rajya Sabha. I think that's the point. The local leaders may come and say their aspirations, their all thoughts and all those things, but finally it is the ultimate leadership will decide. Now, next meeting on 31st of August, the item which you are asking, the common minimum program or the coordinators or the seat sharing agreement, I think there are 8 months still for the Lok Sabha election.
Many would argue that the problems are aplenty. Mr. Rajgopalan, do they have enough time to sort out these differences? Rather, I ask an existential question. Will they be able to sort out any kind of differences? The Aam Aadmi Party, the genesis of the party is that many political pundits would argue that they have taken the vote share of the Congress party and taken the space that the grand old party had, say for example in the national capital at one point in time. Will the Congress party be even comfortable politically to have any kind of seat sharing agreement with them? Mr. Rajgopalan.
Congress party will not be comfortable. It will be uncomfortable. That shows from the young leaders like Alka Namba and Anil Chaudhary, Congress is wanting to, be a big brother. And the regional parties, Anusha, are very much thinking that Congress is an extra luggage for them. Apart from that, a unmanned flight took off from Patna to Bengaluru to Mumbai, and that is called drone. I would like to say India alliance is like a drone, unmanned. There is no man who will pilot it. And second thing, Congress is in a hurry. After getting elected in Karnataka and Himachal Pradesh, which is a very welcome step. India needs a strong opposition, a strengthy opposition, healthy opposition, and stable government also. So therefore, we are in a crisis situation, and especially Congress, which is glued to all the opposition unity, having a big brother attitude. See the confusion in Maharashtra, Sharad Pawar, Ajit Pawar. And what is happening, the Prithviraj Chauhan is saying something. And just now I heard from West Bengal that CPM mouthpiece, People's Democracy, has said that we won't ally with TMC. So where is India? I.N. It is dot alliance. Dot alliance is like Navagraha. Everyone is seeing the opposite side, They don't have one seeing on the other. And second thing, it is like a drone, unmanned aircraft. So therefore, who is the pilot? So let them decide who is the pilot. I think that the India alliance will collapse by August or September because Sharad Pawar has to make his position very clear.
That's another very interesting facet to watch out for, where Mr. Sharad Pawar really settles down before the 2024 elections. But I'm sure Dolly Sharma has a lot to say. Dolly, some harsh words were used by Mr. Rajgopalan when he said that Congress party is being seen as an extra baggage by various regional parties. Do you have the same feeling?
You're asking me?
Yes, Dolly ji, I'm asking you.
Yeah. If you talk about 2019, in Delhi, Congress was on number 2. You can't say this because Congress was the second number 2 party in 2019. Okay. And we won Karnataka recently. We won Himachal recently. And in coming elections in Madhya Pradesh, Congress is going to win. It is 100% sure. We will be winning Chhattisgarh. We will be winning Rajasthan. And also, again, I would like to say that the idea of India is in a threat because of the ruling party. And India alliance intact, be it whatever, the statements come, whatever. You've not seen anybody, you've not seen Mallikarjun Kharge saying anything, you've not seen Rahul Gandhi saying anything. So the statement will come from the leadership, and any party would ask the leaders to prepare. Because the 2024 election is around the corner.
So Dolly ji, that's a given that you will have some kind of seat sharing agreement with the Aam Aadmi Party. Is that a given, ma'am?
See, I told you earlier also, and now again I'm telling you that there is no problem with India alliance. When the time comes, we will decide on the seat sharing also.
So I
Because
don't have a
if you
straight
talk
answer there.
about BJP and its alliances, you cannot forget Chirag Paswan and his uncle fighting for seats. You will also see the same picture in NDA also. But
I mean, when Chirag Paswan and that infighting was happening, we spoke about the future of that alliance as well. And the reason why, ma'am, we are putting so much focus on the future of the INDIA, that particular alliance, because it's the fate of opposition in this country. And opposition is very important for any thriving democracy, as I earlier said. So those questions need to be asked. And what happened recently, Abhinandita ji, coming back to you. If there is no seat sharing agreement, I'm talking about a worst case scenario here. You may call it speculative, but that's the question on the mind of various people. That if there is no seat sharing agreement, would you have an adversarial line? Would you walk out of this particular alliance like some Aam Aadmi Party leaders said yesterday? We had a response coming in from certain leaders who said, what is the point of being into an alliance if you can't even have a seat sharing agreement?
Well, with due respect, I don't think I can give an answer to this very speculative question. Certainly not at this time. Like, my colleague from the Congress also said, time will tell and we will figure it out. And it has not obviously been easy for any party to come together, because we do fight each other we do contest in states. But regardless of those differences, all the parties are coming together with a larger agenda, with a larger mission. And that is what is critical right now. And, as far as seats, etc. are concerned, those will be difficult decisions, but they will be taken and we will let you know then. I think more important really is, we discuss what is it that we are coming together for? What is it that we are standing against? What is it that the country needs at the moment? Why do we need everybody to come together? Can you imagine if there are 30%, 40% people who want Pradhan Mantri Modi ji to be the Prime Minister? There are also 60-70% who don't want BJP. And these are, aspects of democracy.
Well, all I can say is that democracy works on a different algorithm altogether. And if the majority of the people want a certain person, that could be any day, tomorrow, the leader of an Aam Aadmi Party as well, he will be the Prime Minister. That arithmetic or the mathematical calculation work like that. I think Ravi Srivastava has a quick point to make. Ravi ji, please go ahead. Then I'll go back to Guru Prakash Paswan.
See, first of all, this alliance has been formed against a united India and a divided India. The divided India, which is run by the NDA government, united India is presented by the India bloc. So that's a basic difference, and it is being taken across the country. All 26 tall leaders assembled and they made it. Now, you have got another alliance of NDA, which has already started cracking. You saw the Manipur MPs making statements. You saw the Manipur MLAs making statements that they have just feel being cheated, being a part of the NDA. So this is what Prime Minister is completely.
No, but Raviji, the fact the opposition has all the right to raise the pertinent issues, and rightly so. Manipur, of course, is one of the important issues. But the kind of mandates BJP has been getting in the last 2 terms, it only shows that people perhaps don't buy this narrative. What makes you think that this time this narrative will stick with the electorate?
Your has-been story is over with the 2014 and 2019. After that, BJP has not gained substantially in any of the state elections. They have made a big show of the Northeast, where they are nothing except in Tripura. They made their government back, and other Meghalaya and Nagaland, they have got a minimal MLA who are supporting the ruling. Okay, one state, you lost already several states, you lost the Karnataka, you lost the Himachal Pradesh.
I think factually, Ravi Srivastava ji, I think there is a point there that Mr. Rajgopalan ji is rightly making. I have last 1 minute on the show. Mr. Guru Prakash Paswan, the closing comments from you. Are you scared of a formidable opponent? About 26 political parties coming together and challenging the might of the BJP. They argue it's making you nervous and you are overplaying their differences.
No, Anusha, I don't think that there is any question of nervousness, but I deeply appreciate that throughout the debate you have maintained one line that a strong opposition is very important in democracy, and all of us are of the same opinion. Even the Honorable Prime Minister on day 0 of the monsoon session, he has been repeatedly saying that the suggestions of the oppositions are very constructive and they add value to the political discourse. Right. But the problem here is, and I was listening to the respected spokesperson of the Congress party, when she said that there is threat to the idea of India. What is your idea of India? Your idea of India is premised on three things: nepotism,
No, but don't you
corruption,
think when a
and
policeman in a
appeasement.
train,
That is,
no, don't you think when a policeman
I did
in
not
a
speak when,
can't
madam, I
hold
think, madam, I
people
think,
saying, if you
Anusha,
are
I think this is
limited,
not,
why
this is
not?
not the way we debate, Anusha.
One second.
Anusha, I can shout
One
over
second.
it.
No. Nobody
But
needs to
that's
shout
the
on
idea
this
of
debate.
India.
Dolly ji, let him make his point. I have not allowed anybody to interrupt you. Guru Prakash Paswan, finish your point. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much. And that in a way shows the sanskar of the Congress party. But I think it's very important to appreciate the deepening of democracy that has happened in the last 9 years. For the first time, we are seeing a woman from tribal community, from the most backward region of the country, Mayurbhanj in Odisha, a woman from Santhal community at the highest constitutional office in the country. We have become the 5th largest economy. We are the global pharmacy to the world. On the other hand, the Congress's agenda, the India Alliance agenda is Modi Hatao and bring what? Your agenda, your ideas are premised on 3 pillars, that is of appeasement, corruption and nepotism. And Mr. Ravi Srivastava was mentioning about 26 tall leaders.
Yeah.
Mr. Lalu Yadav built his politics against the Congress party. Ram Manohar Lohia ji built his
I
politics
argued
against the
earlier
Congress
that the
party.
genesis
Congress
of
party
the
used
Aam
to be
Aadmi
the
Party
pole.
has been anti-Congress. I'm sorry, that's all the time that I have, but I appreciate all of you sparing time and joining us on Viewpoint tonight. The future of INDIA will depend on some questions which are very, very important for its survival. One, of course, is the leadership issue. And secondly, can the Congress party, which is the first amongst the equals, one of the leaders in the opposition camp, if it is able to come with some sort of seat-sharing agreements with regional satraps, say, for example, the Aam Aadmi Party or the TMC. Well, joining us on Viewpoint tonight is another newsmaker. We have with us senior Congress leader Mr. Sandeep Dikshit, who's with us on the show. Sandeep ji, namaskar, good evening. Thank you so much for speaking with us. Coming straight to the point, do you think the Aam Aadmi Party will stay within the INDIA alliance if there is no seat sharing agreement between the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party?
Well, first of all, I think it's a completely needless issue, and the problem with the Aam Aadmi Party is that they have no idea what happens. They create these mountains around which they can spin publicity and do it. Because their foundation has been on a set of lies and a bed of lies, that they really can't understand what the other person is saying. In yesterday's meeting, which happened with the Congress leaders from Delhi and the Congress President and Mr. Gandhi, we spoke about how to strengthen the Congress in the coming years, and everybody gave their opinion. And obviously, when you speak about strengthening the Congress, right, where do we get our votes from? We get it from the BJP, we get it from the BSP, we get it from the Aam Aadmi Party. So various strategies were discussed, but whether we get into an alliance or we don't get into alliance was not discussed there. In fact, lot of leaders, including me, said that in case you have an alliance or don't have an alliance, that is a decision at whatever point of time you want to take. We can discuss that separately. Right now, let's focus on how we strengthen the Congress in the 2024 elections. And I think some of this thing came up because what Alka Lamba, at least what I remember in the meeting she was saying is, let's prepare ourselves for 7 seats, right? And I think it's clear, look, there are 7 seats in Delhi. If we have to fight 7 seats in Delhi, whether on our own or in conjunction with any other party, we are still fighting 7 seats, no?
Yes.
You know, suppose, let's take this seat of New Delhi, okay? Suppose Congress does not prepare itself in New Delhi, and if this New Delhi seats come to the Congress in the alliance, we will not be ready to fight on our own. However, on the other hand, if this seat goes to whatever is our alliance partner, how will the Congress help the alliance partner if we are not ready? So, parties have to be ready in all the seats in a state. So what was this controversy about, by this Aam Aadmi or whatever their spokespersons? I don't understand.
But sir, the way I see it is that the entire genesis of the Aam Aadmi Party is anti-Congress. They have eaten into the vote share or the vote bank of the Congress Party here in the national capital to establish themselves as one of the political parties in the country and now expanding to other states as well. The story has been similar in Delhi and Punjab as well. My question is rather that how can Congress Party ever be comfortable with an Aam Aadmi Party, and that too a seat sharing agreement in the heart here in the national capital? This has been the turf where the battle between the AAP and the Congress actually started.
Look, let me now give you my personal opinion here, because official position has not been discussed. We haven't seen the larger contour of the alliance or what it is going to mean. So my comment should not be put on to that.
Sure.
I personally feel that I don't think we need an alliance with Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi. Precisely some of the reasons are that the Aam Aadmi Party came into existence to weaken and defeat the Congress. I've never seen it in its history. I've seen them campaigning in Gujarat. They only abused the Congress. Recently in Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan, they've been abusing the Congress. In Karnataka, if you remember, moment the Siddaramaiah government announced its new measures of welfare and various things that they were giving to the people, Kejriwal went on record to criticize the Congress. So their gut is an anti-Congress reaction, and that is why very often we feel that they are nothing but a B team of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Their social, religious, constitutional outlook also sometimes favors that. So very clearly what you're saying is that they are a party whose genesis is out of not only being anti-Congress, but being viciously anti-Congress, creating an atmosphere of hatred, of dislike and personal attacks on Congress leaders. Whether it was Sonia ji or Rahul Gandhi or Manmohan Singh ji or Pranab Mukherjee or Chidambaram or Mrs. Dixit. I mean, the most vilified campaign was carried about these people. I don't think any other leader has lowered the discourse of political dialogue as much as Arvind Kejriwal has done. So I clearly agree with you. Only thing, I mean, as I said here, I'm just hoping, because my gut reaction is that we should not get into an alliance with Aam Aadmi Party, and if we do, at least the talk should be done very, very carefully and see where it takes us. Is unless he completely changes his stance, okay, he becomes reliable. There has been cases elsewhere. We were at loggerhead with Shiv Sena, that changed. The DMK initially fought bitterly against the Congress in the 50s and 60s. And we were the greatest enemies, and then we found some common platforms. So we can find a common platform, but I think there is a long way that Arvind Kejriwal and his party will have to walk to convince that his politics has actually changed. He himself will never change, I know that. But if the policy and the politics of his party changes, then maybe.
AAP's politics need to change. Those are some very strong words, sir, that you're using. Let me take this final question with you. I argue that Delhi is just the beginning of the problem. There are various states across the country where Congress party could face a similar problem. Say, for example, West Bengal. You gave a good example of DMK, but it took a long time for the Congress and the DMK to see eye to eye to this point where they are politically comfortable with each other. Do you see the problem that we have seen in Delhi also translate into different other states across the country for the Congress party where they would rightfully want to expand?
No, I think Delhi is a problem because of its peculiar circumstances and the way and manner in which Aam Aadmi Party came up here. In most of the other states, I don't have time to discuss this, but in most of the other states I've calculated, in except 2 or 3 states, in almost every other state, the relationship is either already established because of pre-alliances they're existing, or the fact that there's a very clear majority party and a very clear minority partner. And by and large, it may be a matter of a couple of seats here and there. Otherwise, I don't think there will be so many issues which will prevent 2 parties from coming together. The other thing is also, let's remember, alliances have to be state by state, sometimes maybe even region by region, right? And it's not everywhere that 2 plus 2 equals 4. In some cases 2 plus 2 will equal to 6, in some cases 2 plus 2 may equal to 3. So I think what you have to do is you have to do intelligent alliance, you have to do effective alliances, you have to see that your workers gel with each other and your voters like the other party and the other party's voters like your party.
All right, Mr. Sandeep Dikshit, thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast. Thank you for taking out time. Thank you for being here on Viewpoint tonight. Well, that's the politics which is happening as far as INDIA is concerned. You heard Sandeep Dikshit, who had a very different point of view compared to the Congress party spokesperson who was with us on the debate. These are the differences that we were talking about. Let's see if the grand old party and the alliance called INDIA is able to sort it out. Shifting our focus to some breaking news coming in, let's cut across to this piece of news where the Pakistan caretaker government has released its list of cabinet minister. Wife of Jammu and Kashmir Liberation Front, Yasin Malik, has been appointed as Special Assistant to Prime Minister on Human Rights. You also have Mashal Hussain Malik, who has been appointed as Special Assistant to Prime Minister on Human Rights. That's the word really coming in. And the choice really points out to the appeasement of separatist forces in the valley. Abhishek with us on the broadcast. Abhishek, give us more perspective.
While the new caretaker Prime Minister has announced his cabinet, he is trying to solve so many issues at the same time, which Pakistan is handling. The foreign ministry or the affairs with India has been something that has always been a bone of contention. And with the induction of Yasin Malik's wife, that has been reported that Mushal Hussain Malik, she's also become part of Pakistan's new caretaker government's, cabinet, and she will be handling human rights in the Pakistan's new cabinet. And while inducting her as part of her cabinet, his cabinet, and giving her portfolio of handling human rights issues, clearly Pakistan is targeting Indian action in Kashmir, and they are going to make it an issue and create an international, narrative that what is going in Kashmir is nothing, and the kind of human rights violation that has been Pakistan's old stand.
Very briefly from you, Abhishek, Pakistan has tried to sell this narrative for a very long time. Look what's happening in Kashmir. There's so much problem. After the abrogation of Article 370, their propaganda machinery went berserk. They went in full force. They tried to internationalize the issue, not for the first time, but they haven't been successful. Very briefly from you, do you see this narrative finding any merit with any of the Western nations or any other of the regional powers across the world?
There can be two way to look at it. First, the international selling agenda or propaganda. Not too many takers are there who actually believe what Pakistan is saying on the issue of Kashmir, whether it is Indian abrogation of 370 or the human rights violation that Pakistan has been blaming on the Indian state in Kashmir. The second part is Pakistan's internal politics, Pakistan's internal deteriorated economic crisis and security situation is so bad that it hardly has any window to look at the issue of Kashmir and, handle any controversial aspect of or bring in more problems to its own polity, which is already worsening with each passing day.
Convict Yasin Malik, who has been accused of serious offences during the 1991 or the riots that happened during the 90s, various cases in which he is an abettor and offender. Convicted, mind you. We continue tracking that story. Coming up on the other side of a very quick break, the rain fury in the hill state of Himachal Pradesh. Landslides, flash floods that have killed over 60 people in the last 3 days. We have a big voice here on the show. We have Leader of Opposition Jairam Thakur, who joins us live on Viewpoint. Stay tuned.